I think you have already basic idea about database. So what I'm doing that, yeah, so that is the our content what we will cover in that. So if you see the content is like this. So almost if you see here, it's almost 14 module. Okay, so first module is related with the how do we install, what's the scope and why need of the RDB mesh and so on. So I'm not going to cover right now, but if you think then I will cover. If you see the like normalization technique, architecture, and these two things we will consider it later in session. It will come up and we will see in the details. Okay, so rest of the things is not any worth to consider here to discuss if you already know that. So our main concept start from the second module, which is the DDL, DML and DCL and so on. I will see here, we will see here. Okay, so yeah. So mainly here is my normal database. The database I'm using here, it's a database name is my class, and this data we will use for this our entire session or entire module. Okay, so already you know that how do we activate the database, in which database we are going to work. So right now if you see that we are not connected here, that's why the reason the database is not showing here as an active database. So firstly I need to connect it, and we will connect. If you install the first time, maybe the server name doesn't appear, so you will go here and you will browse for more, and you will click here and you will find your server name. Then you can easily connect using the server name. But if you have already connected, then it will automatically come and every time, each and every time. So now here my active database is a master, so I will make my database active as a my class database. Use my class. So I will select the only particular query to run, otherwise all the, if we not select, then all the query will run. So here I will select the particular query to run, and now my active database is the my class. So if I see here, like firstly I will, what is the DDML, DCL, TCL commands. So DML and DCL already I have made a notes for you. So if you see that the DML, DDL, DCL and TCL, these mainly 4 commands will work entire the database in SQL Server. So DML means the data manipulation language. So the function which have to manipulate the data like select, insert, update, delete is the DML. It's just for manipulation. And if you see about the DDL commands is create, alter, drop, and create. It means the structure of a database or a table, like creating, altering its impact upon the definition or like architecture of the database or table or any object. Okay, so same here, DCL is the like a control, data control languages. It means that you are giving some access like on any tables, database or any columns. So this is the DCL commands and function, and this is the TCL. It's like a transaction query or transaction control. So transaction is commit, rollback and save transaction. So here I will use the first DDL command. So in DDL command I will see each and everything. So mainly using DDL we will create table and altering the tables, like adding columns, removing columns, changing the data types and so on. Okay, so simply I come here and I make a first table which is like a SQL Server is not any specific, like you can use uppercase, lowercase. It's not bound with any case sensitive. So you can write query whether you want uppercase or lowercase. You are free. So simply I am making a database, I'm creating a table, create table. A blue color, it means that is the reserved name of the SQL Server. Okay, and green color or black color, it's a normal word or like a normal statement. So I am saying like I am going to create a table emp. If you see in SQL, what I'm going to do that, oh sorry, I think I had already in a table Excel. So my main concept is that this table I will create in the R SQL Server. So if you see the table, it's like ID is a numeric, it's like an integer, and this salary is also a part of the numeric value integer. So see here, ID integer name. So if you see a name is showing in a blue color, it means that it's a reserved keyword. So maybe sometimes it will not work, and maybe it throw an error as you are using a reserved name in your query. So if you want to overcome this error, you can put in a square bracket. Like if I say varchar, I give it a size like 5, and these three things, and I'm here adding salary int. So if you see that name is a reserved keyword, it's showing. Or if you want to write any name like a first name, so if you run this query, it will throw an error. So it's a throwing an error. So what we can do that, like if any column name you are going to be supply here, then you will put a square bracket. Then if you run this, it will work. Okay. It's a saying already an implied table in the database. So what I do that, I will drop the table, drop table emp. If you want to see manual, then you can see here manual table. Manually this table is existing here. So I will drop here, and now I will create here. So simply I create. So this is a create command, and how do we create the table? And I insert here some values like insert id 01, and a name, it means like Kumar, and salary. First name salary integer. Oh sorry, I forgot it to make it here. So I select this and I run here, and you will see that query has been done successfully. Okay, so now if you see that this has been applied here, so what maybe three situations that if you want to do some altering in the table, like if you want to alter the name of the column, like if you see first name and here is the salary and so many things, if you want to do changes here, so see how we are changing here. So I have a command like an alter. So using alter syntax we can change the things in our table. Like if we want here a department column, so how we will add an additional column here. So one thing is that you can change add the manually going here. You will go there and go to the design, and in design you will see here like a department name, and you will give it a data type. Here is like varchar, nvarchar, and nchar, so many things. What the type of data type you can use here. So here I am simply saying add a varchar 15. Otherwise you can do as per your need, but here I am giving it sizes like 5. So once it done, then when you will close it, it will ask you to save. Okay, once you save, so I say here to save, now you will see that department column has been added here. If you rerun this query, you will see that department has been added here. Okay, using SSI, sorry, using T-SQL or using query or command base, then you will do in this way. I not drop. I drop it and I make it again the table, and now I am going to add so now I am going to add a department column here. So that's the alter table, and the name of the table, which is EMP, and I want to add a column, then I will say add column depth, the name of the column, and it's a data type, which is varchar5. Varchar5 means it will maximum consist are 5 character. Okay, so when I execute, it's showing as a successful, and when you run, you will see department column has been added here. So I'm writing here what I'm doing there. Add column has been done. Writing here very simply add column. And second thing, like if you want to add multiple columns, so that is the same way. Like alter table EMP, the name of the column you want to apply here, you need only to add word only one time, and rest of the things you can do the repeat the column name with the data type as much as you want. So I say here add city varchar 20, and anything you like add gender column, varchar 10. So n number of column you can add here easily. Varchar 28 alter table. One second, guys. I stop here recording for few seconds. Sorry. Select star from EMP, the name of our table. So now you can see that both the columns has been added here. The same way, if you want to change any data type or anything, you can do that in the same way. So like if you want to change any data type or any new column or something, then you will do the same way. Like so here you said that gender, it's like now if you want to say so like if you want to say a gender like one for male, So what will you do that now you will change it in a numeric format. So you will do the same way, like how do you modify? So changing a column data type is the same way, like alter. Alter the name of the table, alter table. Now when you use the alter commands, then you need to say the alter as well table name, alter table emp. And now what you want to alter? Now you want to alter like a column name, data type, then you will say alter gender. Now you will say int. Why it's not being here? Gender, gender. Oh sorry, I forgot to add here alter column. Then now you see that your data has been changed. So now if you want to make any entry, you can see that it's a very simple to have an entry, and later we will see the advanced level of the entry. I am just trying to cover up how do we the insert, update and so many things about the DDL commands only. Basically here I am doing the just DDL commands. Once the DDL commands over, then we will see the rest of the advanced things. Okay, insert into values, like you want to insert values into emp table. So like if I say id equals 102, and now first name is like when you put any words or string type, like then you have to single quote, then salary equals like 6500, debt IT department, and city like Mumbai, and now gender is equal 1. So now all the data has been inserted successfully. You can check here. So now you see all the data has been inserted successfully. And the same way, like if you want to say someone's name like Rahul Agrawal, and I say employee, it says like 103. And what happens that already we have said like the name of the first name maximum size is the 5, but here I am saying Rahul Agrawal, almost nearly 3, 7, 8, almost nearly 14 to 12 characters. So see, I will see that there is an error. String or binary data would be truncated in table myclassdbo.emp like first name. So mainly the reason is that why already I have said about the size first name. So here first name is which size is only 5, so it will can store maximum 5 character. So if I need to change its size, then again I will say the alter table emp, and I want to change the altering the name of the column, which is first name. So keep in mind, when any space in the any column, then you will use a square bracket. Without a square bracket you can't do that. First name and then varchar 30, 20, whatever you want, you will do that. Now I have updated its size. Now I will try to insert the Rahul Agrawal. Now you see that Rahul Agrawal has been updated successfully. So now I will see something more, like how do we drop a column. By now I have seen that how to add column, modify column data type, and now go for the dropping a column, like if any column we do not need, then how we will drop it. So the same way, drop table, the name of the table, which is emp, and now say drop column, name of the column. Like if you want to drop the column name is city, then simply drop this column city. Oh sorry, alter table, my mistake. I am altering, I am not dropping, I am just altering. Alter means any modification. City. So now if you check, city column has been removed. And if you want to rename a table, so simply I have a command which is the special command, like a stored procedure. So simply I say here, like sp rename, I have a special procedure, sp rename, what you want to give, it's a new name, then you will give a new name like employee, then you will execute it. sp rename will change the name of the table. So now command has been successfully, and now if you refresh here, you will see that my new name has been updated here, which is employee table. So the same way, if you want to change like any column name, oh sorry, its name has been changed as employee. Select star from employee. So now column name has been employee changed. And now if you want to change any column name, the same way, if you have to follow the column name with the dot. So renaming a column name, it means that column name will be remained, it will exist, only the name would be renamed. So say again here, sp rename, employee, and name of the column, what is that? It's a first name, so I said if you have any space, then you will put in a square bracket, and what you want to say, it's a new name, say new name like emp, table, and oh sorry, I am saying its first name would be name only, and you will tell that what is that, is it column or what, so that it will apply perfectly. Either the parameter obj is ambiguous to the claimed column is wrong. I think square bracket is not necessary here. Okay, a square bracket is not necessary here in SP rename. Otherwise, if you have any space, then you have to always follow the square bracket. So if you say that first name, now name has been changed with EMP PBL. Oh, sorry, employee. Now you see that here first name has been changed with employee with name. Okay. So any question? Guru Dinesh or Partha Sarthi, any question? Okay, so actually actually I am not a professional trainer. This is my first, so the thing is not exactly the like a professional, but if you have any query you can ask. Okay, but the thing is that I am not a professional trainer. It's my first or second training, and already I had discussed in the offline classes, but online classes is my first class. Okay, mainly for SQL. Otherwise I had some classes, but SQL it's the first time. And all the things here I had discussed with you. I will share you the sheet. Later I will share you the sheet with all the things what I am saying. Maybe I am not saying perfectly, but I will make a Word document file and I will share you how the commands I am applying here. Otherwise here rest of the commands has been successfully sorry, I have tried to explain in the better way, and it's all about the DDL commands, like how do we modify any like a table, column, anything, whether it's a data type, it's a size, almost altering related commands has been done here. Okay, so now I see here next topic. So which is the import and export? It's the very same and very easy. You have two way in the way you can import or export. So like if you see here in your start bar, go there and you will say like SQL Server, and here you will find like import and export. The controls is here. Otherwise you will manually navigate it. It will appear here. This is the Microsoft SQL Server 2019. Here you will see that import and export for 64-bit and this is for 32-bit. So any of that you can use that. Otherwise another way is that here is also controls, using that you can import or export. Okay, so like if you want to here, like here I'm already shown you that it's an Excel sheet, and here I have a table. So the table is that this table, the name of the worksheet is here, workbook is this, and worksheet name is sheet 1, employee sheet. So you can see that. So what we will do that this table I will import in our SQL Server. Okay, so simply go on the database. You need not to click on any table, okay, because it's self in a table. So inside a table you can't import it, you have to import inside a database. So go on the database and just right click here, and you will go the task, and you have to import export. You will see here import flat file. A flat file, it means always a CSV or text file. Okay, but here you are going to import an Excel file, which is not a flat file. Absolutely Excel is flat file, but under the flat file you can't do that. Okay, so I will say import data. Click on import data and follow here next. So here next, and the name of the data source. So name of the data source, which is the Excel is the data source we will import, which we will import here. So select here Microsoft Excel. Okay, it's my source. So you have to navigate on the source database, what kind of the data, where is that. So you will navigate this folder. So I have already in G Drive folder and SQL Server and session 1 and this Excel. So I will click open, and all the worksheet, like if you see here Excel sheet, there are the two sheet. There are the two sheet, which is the blank sheet, and this is the MP sheet, which is the data. Okay, so in a sheet there may be multiple table. So here may be one table, here may be one table, and number of table may be here. So SQL Server will show you all the data, all the table here in the dialog box. So click on next. So it's asking for the destination. So our destination is the SQL Server. So SQL Server is the OLEDB database. So here you will go and you will select as per your driver. So try to do that. Two things here. Here is the, sometimes you see Microsoft OLEDB driver for SQL Server. Otherwise here that is the also SQL Server native client. Sometimes this will also work. Okay. So by default it's come. So I will follow this. If it's not working, then you will check for another. Okay. So here when I selected for native client, then automatically it will come here. So here you will see the server name. So if you are a multiple server or using multiple connection in your office environment, then maybe you have multiple server name. So you will select the drop down as per your project or process server name. You will select here from the drop down. I have a single server name, so I will not choose it. So here comes to the database. So all the database in you have a SQL Server, you can see that. So I show you. So if you see that some database here like Adventure 2014, 17, 2017, 19, Bike Store, DB1, DB Superstore. But my database is my class, so by default it's selected. If you want to import in another database, then you will click here and you can see all the database where you want to import it. Okay. Otherwise you can create a new database here also. So I click on next. So it's asking for copy data from one or more table or views. It's asking for a query. So I'm simply just copy. It means just copy and paste. Data would be remain on the source also. That's why it's asking for copy data. So I will click on next, and so here you will see that all the sheets. So already I shown you that there are two sheets, which is the employee EMP and sheet 1. Okay. So EMP and sheet 1. So the same thing is showing you here. Already I said that you will see here EMP two times, EMP and EMP, dollar and without dollar. It means sheet. It's referring for the sheet. So if you referring a sheet, then maybe multiple table here, but here only one table. So here you will just simply click on this. So it's showing dbo.emp. It means in SQL Server its name would be EMP. Otherwise if you want to change any name, then you will put here your words what you want to manually. Okay. So if you want to see the preview of your data, so you will click here and you will see the preview of your data like ID, name, salary. Click OK, and already it has been mapped, so you need not to map. Otherwise if you want to go for mapping, then you can do that. It's showing a size like nvarchar ID 250, so on it's showing, and you will go for next. Okay. So run immediately, save SSIS package. It means all the steps would be recorded or saved for future perspective, but here I have to run immediately, so you can say finish. So after the finish, you will see all the steps would be here. Now you see that all the things is going, data flow, initializing connection, these all are the successful, and here showing one row has been transferred. Okay. So just if you want to see the reports, then you can click. So it will show you the reports, how is going on, what is successfully. If anything failure, then it will show you what is the failure. So click on close. Now if you see that in SQL, you will see, if you refresh, then you will see a EMP table has been imported here successfully. So go on table, you will see here EMP table has been successfully. Okay, so if you want to see here, then here, and simply write a query, select star from. So if you are confusing with DBO is nothing, it's just a schema. Just select and execute it, and you will see all the tables same has been imported from the Excel. And the same way, if you follow the same way, it will has the similar control. So next, the same control is here, so you can follow yourself. I'm not going to explain this. So it's about import and export. Yeah. So now I'm coming for the data type. Constraint and SQL constraint add a data type. A constraint, it means like enforcing any columns or any tables integrity. Like if you are saying that like this is the my integer type, and if you want to make any constraints, it means a restriction or rules. It means that salary can't be more than 10,000, or salary should be between 10,000 to 50,000. So this is a kind of the restriction or constraints. So maybe constraint may be any kind. Constraint may be a unique constraint, so that the duplicate value, duplicate entry can be restricted. Also it calls at the table integrity or column integrity constraint. So many things can be called it. So I'm going to explain it here. Like table integrity. Table integrity or constraint. So firstly, my concept is that before going to here, I am taking two table, which is the course table course ID and course name. So like a course ID is like 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So I am saying Java, Python, C++, and SQL Server. Okay. It's the roll number, student name, and it's a course ID 101. It's a from 102. It's a Jack, has been enrolled for course number 2 and 3. What may be the situation? Suppose if you have an institute and you are enrolling all the students in your institute, so the constraint may be that the course ID you can use here only the course which course is here. So before entering you will check here. So the concept is the foreign key. So the same way, foreign key, primary key, check constraint, unique constraint, default, all the value we will discuss, all the things we will discuss here. So see here, I am creating table create table course, course ID integer, course name varchar, one for Java, two for Python, three for C, C++, So if you are making an entry in this way, then maximum entry it can be thousands entry, otherwise you have to write down in this way: insert into course values 1 Java, and again you will write insert into course values 2 for Python, and so on. It may help you to run n number of entry, and this only maximum thousands entry will allow. So here we will use the first approach, so that we will not type here again and again insert into. So our entry is less than 10,000, so less than 1,000, so I will use here this. Select, start from course table. Okay, so now my table has been inserted here successfully. So before going there, now here I am saying that if someone wants to make a duplicate entry, like again I want to say that like say .NET. If you run this query again, here already is a 1, which course ID is already defined, and now if you see that repeating value is here. So what I am saying that I want to make a restriction so that course ID or course name would not be repeated the multiple times. So for right now I drop this, sorry, I will delete it, delete. Name of the table, delete course, course name course.net. So I already said that it's not a case sensitive, so now I have deleted it successfully. So there is the two things. Firstly, I am going to talking about the primary key. So primary key can be added in the starting of the table when you are creating, but thing is that I am dropping the table course, and here I am applying a primary key. Like here I am saying that a primary key. So I execute this again, and now primary key has been applied here. Okay, so I show you how the primary key is there, like course table. Now here course table has been created, and when you click that, so I had applied a primary key. So primary key is the constraint, and you can see the column. So see the column, there is the course ID. A course ID is like a key, which is a primary key. Okay, and if you say for the index, a primary key itself an index, and you see that it's a random name has been given to this C9. If you see, check like that, PK underscore course, and underscore C92D. This is almost 15-16 digits of the character. PK it means a primary key, underscore course it means a table name, and then it's a random generated. It means that I have not said about any kind of the primary key. If in this way you are supplying a primary key, then you cannot define its a specific name. So in future, if you have to delete or you need to delete it, then you will come here and manually you will delete it. Okay, so if I say for delete, then I will click here OK, and now that has been deleted. So this time again I can make a duplicate entry here because primary key has been deleted. So if you see that I have made a duplicate entry. Okay, but if you have a primary key, then you can't make a duplicate entry. Again I here creating. So if you want to put a specific name of your primary key or any kind of the constraint, then you have to supply the name of the constraint. Okay, so like if you are creating a table, then you will say a constraint. So you will see it carefully how I am doing that. So I will say here constraint. What kind of the constraint? PK, and PK it means the name I am giving. So I am saying course ID. Okay, a constraint it means a constraint, it means a restriction. So that I said constraint may be primary key, foreign key, unique key, check, anything can be a constraint. So this time I run here, and you will see that a primary key would have a specific name, which is a course ID. PK it's making a unique convention, so that if I see, easily can identify it's a primary key. So if you see that, again come here and refresh this. So check here, yeah, I said PK course ID. Now you can easily call and access because it's not a random name. Okay, so if you want to drop, you want to call, very easily you can say call it. It's a specific name, it's given by you. And if you say here, like again it's a primary key. Okay, one thing is that if you make a primary key, then it will always make an order of the itself. Like this time I have not make any entry, so select, it's a totally blank. So what I'm saying that like I want to insert some values here, like see here, so I make here entry and Python has been inserted, which is ID is 2. See here, if I make an entry of ID which is 1, then you will see that 1 automatically would come before the 2. When I select it, you will see that .NET comes before the Python, which is course ID is 1. So it means that a primary key automatically trying to make its order. So this way you can make a primary key. It's called as an inline primary key or inline constraint. And another way you can do the same thing. I drop this table again, and again see here I copy this. So leave it this, and make a comma, and you can write here, otherwise you can write in next line, it's no issue. Okay, so in another column I am saying about the constraint PK course, constraint PK course ID primary key. Yeah, and here you have to tell the name of the column where you want to apply the primary key. So you will say course ID. Okay, so now in another line, if you are using the constraint, then you have to say the constraint, what kind of the constraint, sorry, what the name of the constraint, and what kind of the constraint, which is the primary key constraint, and on where you want to apply. So I am saying on the course ID, so this course ID. So if you run, then it will also work the same exactly earlier I had with this. So that is the same exactly, only difference is that I am not saying or not declaring the primary key immediately, I am declaring later on here. So in this way also you can do that primary key. And again I am going for the next. So I here entry all the value and I will apply here. And one thing also, so okay, let's entry this. Firstly primary key I will discuss totally. So primary key has been created successfully. Okay, so what I can say about a unique key. Unique key is also a primary key, only different is that you can make a blank value but only one time. Like if you want to make an entry here, like insert into course, and I say if you want to put any specific value in a specific column, then you have to declare it. Okay, if you do not declare, then you have to supply all the value. Unlike here earlier I given the all the value like course ID and course name. So here I am not saying any specific column name for the course table, otherwise just after this I have to put like this course ID and course name, and the same sequence you have to follow the value. If you write course ID firstly, then you have to put in the same order. If you are writing course name second, then course name would be on the second place. Okay, and here if you are putting a specific, then you have to apply in the way. Now I say for values like this, I am saying for any thing you can say, like I said here for Oracle. So now you see that I am giving not any value to the course ID. So let us see what happened. Yeah, it's showing for a course ID table which is cannot be inserted due to the primary key. Okay, it's saying null value is not allowed in a course ID. So a primary key always has a value, but if it's a unique key, then you can make a blank one time. Select star from course. So now I am coming to the student. So this time I am going to apply a foreign key. When you are going to apply a foreign key, you must have a primary key in a source table. First table would call as a parent table, and second table is called child table. So I am saying that this table would be a parent table, this is a child table. Student name. Okay. So quickly I create a table for a student. I will also say here primary key. It's not strictly mandatory because I am not going to refer it here somewhere. I will say constant pk roll number, and it's a primary key, and next is student varchar which is 25, and course ID. So see here, a course ID is our main thing which we are going to apply as a primary key. So course ID integer. So what kind of the primary key? Primary key already I had said, discussed already, which is in our course table. So say course ID int and say like a constant constant, then you will say fk, and it's a fk, give its name course id. So if you want to refer the table name, then you can refer it's a table name. Okay, then again, so where it's being applied, you have given its name, so you will say what kind of this is the foreign key. So the same way you will say it's a foreign key. Then you will say references, so it means whom it's referring. It's referring course table, and name of the column course id. So now you see that foreign key has been applied. So it's a very easy. Unlike exactly the constraint of the primary key, you will say the name of the column and it's a data type. It's an inline foreign key. It means that you are applying a foreign key in the same line. Okay, it's always a good idea having a constraint declaration, follow its name and name of the constraint name and references and where. So it's a table name. Table name is a course table, and in course table I am asking for course id. So course id, keep in mind whom you are referring as a foreign key, it must be always a primary key in a parent table. Okay, so see here how it's working. Insert into student, I say it's values 101, name it's Tom, and course id. If I say, like if I see course id here, it's only I have 5 course id. Okay, so what happen if I say for course id 6? So it means I am giving a course id which is not in my enrollment list, like I have not a course id in my course table. So click on this, you will see an error. So you can this is saying about the error. What kind of the error? The insert statement conflict with foreign key constraint. It's a talking about foreign key, the name of the constraint name, and if why it's a region happens. So it's a saying that course in course table there is no course id with this. So I'll change. If you want to see the structure of the student, then you will click here, refresh, go the table, student table, and you will see the constraint, indexes, column. So here, so if you see the logo of this key in a different way, so this is the upper side, it's a teeth, and its teeth is the downside. So dark keys is always a primary key, or rest are the in other color like white color. So this is the foreign key. So if I make here anything which is available in our course table, it will always accept, otherwise it will not accept. So if you see that entry has been successfully, select star from student. Okay, so if I run this has been accessible. So what happened, there are the different situation. If you try to delete something in our course table, so see here in our table, student table, course id 2 has been used like this. If you see, it means that Tom has enrolled in Python. So what happen if we try to delete this course, as it's being referred in this year in second table or child table. So you can't delete in parent table if something is being referred or being used in another table as a foreign key or primary key. Okay, so if you try to delete, you can't delete it. Try to delete, then it will throw an error. Delete course name of the table and what you want to say, like where course id equal to If you try to delete, you can't delete this. It's a saying you can't delete as it being referred in a foreign key in a different table. Okay, so if something is not being used, you can delete it very easily. If I say 5, hello, hello, hello. Sorry guys, I have not noticed. It was for 1 hour and 1 hour has been done, so that's why meeting has been automatically cancelled disconnected. So I just stop here, and tomorrow I will go in deep down foreign key, primary key and all the constraint. Okay, yeah, please. Oh sorry, I forgot to share it. Please. Yeah, yes sir. So yeah, I'm showing you. Yeah, so yeah, so see here I said that if you are importing, so see, like this is a table. Okay, this is a table, this is a table inside a EMP sheet. Okay, oh sorry, so this is a table. Okay, so what happen if you have already a 2 tables? So this is the 2 tables. Okay, these 2 tables inside a EMP it's a worksheet. Okay, so when you are referring a EMP it means a complete sheet, so it will say as like EMP dollar. Okay, a dollar when it means the entire sheet, this entire sheet. So on a sheet there may be multiple tables. So if you say like this is the if you have not given any name, like if in a C in Excel, go in this here and go to the table design, and you say a name of this table like a something like a TVL or like a student or whatever you want, so itself a table. So if you say only a table, if you call by student, then it means this table. If you see this name of the table is this student table, otherwise here you also can check it, student table is this. Okay, and otherwise if you have not given any name, then automatically it will say like sheet name for a specific table. Okay, by default if you have not given any table name, then it will call by its sheet name. So already I had a single table on a worksheet, entire worksheet, so that's why it's saying EMP dollar as well EMP. When I am saying EMP, it means the table, but again EMP it will show you the same table if you have a single table in your entire worksheet. But if you say dollar, then dollar it means the sheet. It's not any big concept to be confused, but when you try to import 1 or 2 times, automatically you will get it. So constant is a big concept. Tomorrow I will make it a next level and be advanced level, till the advanced level. like how what the happen on action, delete, update, cascade, so many things. One thing here, I think I'm missing something. Oh sorry, data type. So I forget it. I should go for the data type firstly. No issue, again I will. So see here, one thing is that very easy thing I'm just telling, and tomorrow I will show you next level of the data type. Okay, so data type is just like here I'm saying yeah, so like here is the data type. Data type has a category like approx, numeric, float, real. Main data type is character, text, and varchar. These are the main. So only difference is that like if I say create table test, I say here like name. If I say char, so its a size is defined here, how much space occupy char. So suppose char is taking like this. Char data type, yeah, char is this 8000 maximum it can store. Otherwise if you declare any numbers of the size, then it will. So I say like a char, you will say occupy 50 character. Okay, so I run this, sorry, bracket missing. So test is already existing. So if I say 50, it works successfully. But what is the issue with this? Oh sorry, test 2 varchar 50. So when I'm saying that char, then char it means it will always take a 50 characters. Okay, so whether you are saying like a 3 to 4 character name, like if I say Kumar, then you mean to say that char will always occupy 50 character, whether it's a Kumar only 5 character, but it will say as like a blank 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 null, then rest 46, 47, 48, 48, 9, 40, 50 character, it will say like always it will occupy 50 block of the character. But when I say for the varchar, it will always release all the unnecessary memory. So it will always take a 5 character if you say for Kumar, then rest 45 is the remain free. So this is the basic concept of char and varchar. So in the code you will see that most of the time you will see the varchar. Another thing is the n varchar and like a varchar. So like if I make an entry, insert into test one, like if I say Kumar and again Kumar, select test one. Invalid column name Kumar. Oh sorry, insert into values. Sorry, I missed it. Values. So now you see that Kumar has been entry. So it's a varchar. So what happened that like if I say might be Unicode. Unicode is like a special something, like if I say which is non supporting character, like if I say for this, so if I try to make this entries, so you will see that this entry would not be possible, or it will show you as like a star question mark. So now you see that this is the question mark. Okay, So you have to use a n varchar, okay? Then you will use n, then it will accept. Now for right now I drop this and again this, run this. So you will see that I had used n varchar. So if you use n varchar, sorry, table has been created. Now I am inserting, and now you see that n varchar is accepting this. So that is a unique of the varchar and n varchar. Tomorrow I will go in deep down data type and constraint or table integrity. Okay, so that was a short, so that's why I explained, and tomorrow you will go it on the same time. And please, if you have any question, any confusion, if I'm not able to explain in a better way, then you can ask for the particular concept. I will repeat that and I will try to explain in another way also. So thank you guys, thank you for your time. I will share you on WhatsApp group. Okay, thank you, bye bye, thank you.